Lucy Langtry begins our coverage tonight in Murwillumbah.
Swallowing backyards and inching closer to homes, the Tweed River was today unforgiving. Murwillumbah residents had just hours to clear out their homes, and even that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's been a very frantic morning, very wet.
This is just one of the properties swamped by water. Lounges became soaked, toys floated away as the heavy downpour continued.
Oh, I didn't even know it was going to flood.
By 3 p.m, an evacuation warning was in place for the town and an evacuation centre was set up. Locals say they've never seen it rise so fast.
Quick as I've seen it in years. It really is, and we've been here a long time.
The SES is warning this flood event is a full-scale emergency. Despite the threat, it didn't stop risky behaviour on the Murwillumbah Wear. Or here in the Tweed River, a man jumps into the fast-flowing water to swim back to land.
I just decided to go for a swim because it looks fun.
Emergency services are urging the public to stay clear of floodwaters. In Lismore, a number of roads were closed as stormwater drains exploded and torrents of water came rushing down the streets. Council crews braved the rain to put signs in place.
The guys have been doing a great job out in the wet, and we've been putting up signs this morning.
Taken by surprise, these drivers were unable to move their cars in time, and with the rain set to continue for the next 24 hours, it's unlikely they'll be able to rescue them anytime soon.
And reporter Lucy Langtry joins us now from Lismore. And Lucy, residents are being urged to evacuate immediately.
Maddie, that's right. An evacuation order has been issued for the CBD, North and South Lismore. The SES are urging the public to evacuate immediately. As you can see behind me, this street has just become completely inundated with water. There's a car underwater, and you can see these shop owners, family and friends all pitching in to try and rescue whatever they can from the shop. Now, the Wilson River is expected to peak at around 11 metres tomorrow morning. That will be higher than the town's flood levy, which sits just under 11 metres. Now, this rain is expected to continue for the next 24 to 48 hours. And just to reiterate, the CBD, North and South Lismore, they are all being urged to evacuate. Maddie?
Lucy Langtry in Lismore tonight. Thank you.
Our Lismore office is among the many businesses flooded tonight, but reporter Lucy Langtry joins us live from SES headquarters in Lismore. Lucy, what's the situation there?
Well, Kenny, the Lismore CBD is still well and truly underwater. Now, the Wilson River peaked at around 11.6 metres this afternoon, and that water has yet to start to recede. Now, this is the second largest flood the town has ever seen. The biggest was in 1974, and that peaked at around 12.1 metres. So this is quite a significant event here in Lismore, and I don't think anyone was really prepared for the extent of the flooding or the speed in which it took over our streets.
Gushing water surging through the Lismore CBD, a rapid torrent unforgiving as it claimed streets and shops. The flood bank broke just after 4 a.m. this morning, sending water cascading through the veins of the town. Cars were left abandoned and shop fronts became victim to the relentless floodwaters. There was nothing anyone could do. Within hours, all roads in the CBD were underwater.
Once they said that it was going to reach 11 metres, we knew we had to do something. Then it went to 11 and a half.
I was downtown here in the 89 flood. We were working downtown, and it was much stronger then, but there's still a lot of this to come.
The rapid rise of the floodwater caught the town by surprise, and although people prepared, it simply wasn't enough.
Yeah, about 2:30 this morning, I heard that the river was 60 centimetres from breaking the levee, and at 4 o'clock this morning all the alarms went off to say it had broken the levee.
The SES responded to hundreds of calls for help. Here in the Lismore CBD, a man stuck on a brick wall was involved in a dramatic rescue after the floodwaters left him trapped. And while today was his lucky day, the SES fear there are others in life-threatening danger.
One of the difficulties obviously is we don't know whether or not there were people who were unable to call for assistance who may indeed have been impacted by the floodwaters. So there is a possibility that, we may have lost lives.
Crews from across the North Coast have been tasked to Lismore and will work through the night to ensure the public's safety.
Have a tough few days ahead here in Lismore as we wait for the waters to start to go down and we can get in there, start that clean up and assess the damage. Fire and Rescue New South Wales have sent up a super pumper from Sydney, and once the water levels do go down, they'll be able to get in there and start pumping water out of the CBD. And tonight, guys, we also know there's around 8,500 homes still without power.
Okay, thanks for that, Lucy. We will cross back to you shortly. All right, let's get an update now from the SES. Reporter Lucy Langtry is standing by live for us in Lismore. Lucy, over to you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here with the Assistant Commissioner, Kayleen Jones. Now, tell me, how many people are still isolated and when can they expect to be back in their homes?
Thank you. So we've probably still got in excess of 25,000 people who are affected by our evacuation orders. There would be innumerable other people who are isolated but aren't actually under an evacuation order at the moment. As you can see from the flooding behind us and certainly the flooding in other areas across the region, it'll be several days before people will be able to go home, and we're asking people to remain away from their properties where they have evacuated until such time as they actually receive an evacuation all clear from us. Obviously that's so that we can assess the area and make sure it's safe for people to return.
And we know locally Lismore's not the only area affected. What's the situation tonight in Kyogle?
So Kyogle obviously is also part of an evacuation order. The area of the flats in Kyogle and the caravan park have been evacuated and people are obviously safe in those locations. So the river has peaked in Kyogle and Wyangri, and we're just asking people again still to be mindful. There'll obviously be a lot of water still around those crossings and so on up there.
What is the message to the public for tonight?
All right, we're still facing significant flood peaks in the Tweed Shire tonight, so people in the Tweed location should be mindful of those orders and obviously not be out driving, particularly around that high tide time around 1 a.m. But also for the rest of the people, if you don't need to be out right now, then please stay home, stay safe and dry, and let us get on with our work, and that would be great.
Right, Assistant Commissioner Kayleen Jones, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. And the SES has been doing an amazing job over the past couple of days. And reporter Lucy Langtry joins us now from Lismore. Lucy, what's been the response to the Prime Minister's visit?
Well, Kenny, I think a lot of the Lismore community are quite disappointed tonight after no funding was announced by the Prime Minister. I have spoken to a number of shops and businesses today, all affected by the floods, who say they don't really know what the next step forward is. One even questioned if Lismore could recover from this catastrophic event. From a rapid river to a muddy mess, mounds of rubbish pile up on the streets of Lismore as all hands pitch in for the clean-up.
Yeah, it's pretty messy.
Businesses were decimated, almost everything destroyed in the floods as they raged through the CBD. Here, more than $1 million worth of Persian rugs were drenched in floodwaters. The entire store filled up to the roof. The owner was in shock.
I'm very lucky not to get a heart attack.
Bobcats today worked around the clock to remove the waste, while volunteers hosed down the streets. Shops too were lent a helping hand to get back on their feet.
It's the worst flood that I've lived through. It's come up faster than anything I've ever seen, having grown up in this area.
Our stock was only packed up to here, so significant loss.
Homes were not spared, thousands were evacuated and hundreds went under.
A lot of damage there, a lot of damage to many cars, their house, all the stuff in the shed's gone.
Luckily it didn't go into the house, it just went up exactly in line with the floor.
Others weren't so lucky.
It was probably about a metre deep through the house and it managed to raise up to about just over 1.5 metres. And yeah, we've lost quite a lot of stuff.
So too has the entire town, which means the road to recovery could take some time. Lucy Langtry, Prime 7 News.